The president taking all 18 of Ohio's electorates just as he did in 2016. Now, a lot of red on this map. There were a few curveballs that, at the very least, made it interesting. Let's head to southwest Ohio, Montgomery County, home to Dayton. Trump won the county in 2016, but he lost this election. But it didn't matter much because if we go to the northeast in Mahoning County, the president won that. Last time a Republican took Mahoning County was 1972 for Richard Nixon. And to recap, Joe Biden in the lead with electorates right now nationwide. Coming up, we'll break all of that down. Hello and thank you for joining us on Spectrum News 1. Joe Biden is now the projected winner of the 2020 presidential election. Again, the Associated Press calling this race Joe Biden the projected winner of the 2020 election. And right now we're going to bring in Brian Calfano, our political analyst. Brian, are you there?
I am here, Chuck. Good to see you, and great job covering this breaking news today.
Thank you. A lot going on, right? Those 20 electorates from Pennsylvania. Let's start with Pennsylvania. The analysts had projected it would come down to Pennsylvania. Can you walk us through that thought process and how it came to be that, you know, they were right in that regard? The polls, you could go back and forth, but what we do know is it came down to Pennsylvania.
Exactly, and that's really where we were talking about this.
Again, the Associated Press calling Joe Biden the next president of the United States. And it's important to note how important Pennsylvania is and the counties that really came from southeast Pennsylvania. Delaware County, Bucks County, Philadelphia. That's what really gave Joe Biden this election. And to talk about that, we're going to bring in Curtis Jackson. Curtis, are you there?
Hey, Chuck, I'm here. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the time to talk about this. A lot of news coming in. We just finished talking about Pennsylvania, stressing the importance of those southeast counties and the city of Philadelphia, as well as really Allegheny County, where Pittsburgh is. How important was that for Joe Biden? You know, Pennsylvania voted for President Trump last election, comes back to Joe Biden. How important were these areas of the state?
That arrived on time.
You know what, Curtis, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut in on you there. We're having some technical real quick. I'm just hearing something. We're going to toss to a break, but we'll be right back. Thank you for staying with us. Good afternoon, and thank you for staying with us here on Spectrum News 1. We're breaking it all down. Joe Biden being announced as the projected winner of the 2020 presidential election, the 46th president of the United States. You are watching history. This happens once every 4 years. And with that, we're going to bring in our Washington Bureau correspondent, Taylor Popolars. Taylor is in Wilmington, Delaware, outside the Biden campaign headquarters. And Taylor, tell us what's going on where you're at.
And such a very partisan time, and you now have a president-elect who is trying to bring the country together. We'll see if it's met with resistance or if it'll be met with acceptance.
Taylor, thank you. And I want to bring Curtis back in here now. Curtis, the coronavirus. What is Joe Biden's plan of attack for the coronavirus? I mean, Taylor just mentioned he received those briefings. He's going to take a drastically different approach than President Trump has. You know, what can we expect on that front? Okay, we appreciate that. And of course, we have our promise of weather every 10 minutes, and we're sticking to that. Right now, your weather on the ones. Good afternoon, and thank you for sticking with us on Spectrum News 1. For our viewers just joining us, just after 1:16 here, just before 11:30 a.m., the Associated Press calling for Joe Biden the projected winner of the 2020 presidential election, the 46th president of the United States. I'm going to send things over to our Mike Kallmeyer. Mike, you're at the touchscreen there. Can you break down for us how we got to where we are right now? It's all about the data. Researchers at Georgia Tech are gathering real-time county-level coronavirus data and funneling that data into this interactive planning tool. You select the number of people attending the event and then take a look at where your event is taking place. That tells you your risk of interacting with someone who is a positive carrier of the virus.
All right, very interesting. And Thanksgiving is 1 week from today. Hard to believe it's already right around the corner. But can this tool help us navigate whether or not we should attend a Friendsgiving or even a family Thanksgiving dinner?
It can give you the answer of whether or not you should go to grandma's for Thanksgiving. And the tool can help you decide whether or not to attend that family dinner or opt for a smaller gathering. And while these numbers will change over the next 7 days, we want to show you how it works so you can use it too. So if your family gathering were today and you were to head to Franklin County and you had about 10 people in your event size, you would come over here and click 10 people, and then you would zoom into Ohio. You would find your county. Right now we're looking at Franklin County, and you'd see your current risk level is at 22%. Now, if we're going to add a few more people to our gathering, some aunts, uncles, grandma, grandpa, now we've got 15 people. And when we let the map populate there, we go back into Ohio. We take a look at Franklin County, and we see that your chances of interacting with someone who may be positive rose to 31%. So your chances vary depending on where you are and how many people are at your event. So now if you're heading to the Northeast, your chances of interacting with someone are going to change. A 10-person event brings your chances of interacting with someone who may have the virus to 22%. And for a 15-person event, that goes up to 31%. And in Cincinnati and Hamilton County, attending a 10-person event puts you at 25% of a risk, while a 15-person event puts you at 35% chance of interacting with someone who is COVID-19 positive. And you can also see there those rates in Lucas and Montgomery counties and Franklin County as well. We talked about that. I spoke with Arun Chandi. He's one of the scientists that helped build this tool.
It's pretty difficult.
So, Sophia, it's a really interesting tool. You know, we encourage people to check it out depending on where they're traveling. We've got the link on our website, and I've also tweeted it out on my Twitter page.
All right, I've played around with it this morning. It is a little surprising, I have to admit, to see what my risk percentage was for Thanksgiving.
Exactly, and it's not so much your risk of getting the virus, it's your risk of interacting with someone who may already have the virus.
All right.
Hospitals throughout the country are in need of ventilators, and in some states, doctors and nurses may soon have to prioritize who receives them and who doesn't. Spectrum News 1 health reporter Aaron Billups joins us now to discuss the issue. Aaron, those decisions could be a matter of life and death. How do medical professionals go about making them?
Chuck, will send it back to you.
And Josh, you've talked about this before, but it bears repeating, if you may. Joe Biden claims the president is going to postpone the election, but experts say that can't happen.
Well,
now, the stay-at-home order is in effect for Ohio, but farming is essential. The Trump administration on a national level has tightened borders, but there are some exceptions. You mentioned visas. There are also recertification processes. Will migrant workers even be able to get here, and are there any delays? There's a little less than 1,000 nursing homes in our state, and we've covered many stories coming from the Southwest, especially of people dying inside nursing homes due to the virus. Many families feel helpless. Is there anything they can do to help loved ones inside the facilities? Jasmine, while many families have the resources, some may find it difficult to block out distractions that come with learning from home, right? Siblings may be watching the TV, the family dog may be vying for everybody's attention. What else can be done to make school time distraction-free? Museums across the country are asking people to recreate famous paintings with anything you could find at home. And over the last month, the craze has spread from coast to coast. It first started in the Netherlands and went viral after this tweet from the Getty Museum in Los Angeles. The rules are simple. Select your favorite work of art, pick 3 things lying around your home, and recreate it. Youngstown State's McDonough Museum of Art is getting in on the action. We're seeing people all over the state step up to help one another, and we want to recognize that. We're calling it One Ohio. One example of this is coming from Wright State University. Hospitals all over need more nurses, and in response to that need, Governor DeWine signed a bill allowing college nurses who are set to graduate to get right to work. Well, Wright State is sending its largest class in school history into the workforce. 120 nurses are ready to start immediately. The interim dean of nursing says she knows it's a scary time to begin a career, but her nurses are ready to make an impact.
This is what they kind of signed up for. They knew as a nurse that they were going to be taking care of people, some people that, would have infectious diseases. So I have heard no one say, oh my gosh, I'm scared and I don't want to do this. Everyone is just roaring to get out and be able to do this.
It's definitely
a bigger challenge than I think any of us would have anticipated starting with, but we're prepared and we're excited to be able to help.
The nurses will still take their board exam, but their temporary license will be valid until 2021 or 90 days after the pandemic is over. And if you see a good story of people helping people, let us know by using the hashtag #OneOhio with your videos or pictures on social media. We hope to share as many of these stories as we can right here on Spectrum News 1.